Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another outstanding episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. I'm your host, that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. Four continents down, two more to go. No cap, straight facts. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about me. No, it's never about me. See, we have a special guest tonight, a man who is a marketing genius, a man who invests in himself that you can't help but give him a look, but actually, check out his matches on YouTube or whenever he's in your town. He is actually making a name for himself in the tri-state area, more specifically New Jersey, and he's also wrestled over on the West Coast, the Wild Wild West, more specifically Arizona. Everybody, welcome to the show from Cardinal Country, aka Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, the Cardinal Nick Thompson. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. That was an awesome intro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Hey, we're just excited to have you on here. You've been on our radar for a bit. You've been on our radar for a bit,
I
and a lot
appreciate
of
it.
people
Thank you.
a lot of people don't know that when we see everything, we see a lot of things. So when we actually post stuff and we see people like, we're like, okay, who liked our stuff? Let's see. We have enough time, and then we saw it was like you. It was under the Brothers Gray. I don't know if
Yeah,
you ran into those guys. A couple of
yeah,
great guys,
yeah. They're great
but
guys.
it was under their that post we had of them for our season premiere, and we saw there were several people, several wrestlers, and you were one. I was like, "That's who's this Nick Thompson guy? He seems cool." Then I saw your stuff. I was like, "Wow, this guy really's in it to win it," you know. And I gotta say, man, you're one of the smart ones in the business. I'm not in the business myself. Don't get me wrong. I've been a fan. I'm not in the business, but from what I've seen, you definitely invest in yourself, man. But
Thank you.
uh,
Thank you.
how is everything otherwise? You're in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm based out of Jersey. Everything's going pretty good. So far so good with all the wrestling. I'm just doing anything I'm given, trying to get opportunities, trying to network as much as possible. And recently, not knocking on wood here, but recently things have been slowly progressing. So I'm hoping it stays the same. I'm keeping my head where it needs to be. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I remember where I come from, and I want to just give back.
That's awesome, man. That's it's always a great thing, when you give back as well. Um, it shows that you never forget where you come from, and you never will. So that's great as well. So before we get into because you've been doing the thing, doing your thing in New Jersey, and like I said, you even got a chance to go over to Arizona. But
Yeah.
before we delve into that, you know, how did it all start? I always ask, most of our guests this question. How did your love for professional wrestling start? What was the match that you saw or the pay-per-view that you watched that made you go, something? I'm a fan from here on out.
Yeah, so I when I was in middle school, I had some friends. They loved wrestling. I had no clue what it was. I was always that baseball kid and like not like contact sports really, just like you know. And I went over my friend's house. His name's Ryan. I went over his house, so he had the action figures, so he had the video games, and I was like, all right, this is what my friends are into. So let me check this out. Checked it out. I was in seventh grade. The first rivalry I ever saw was John Cena versus Sheamus. Since then, I got hooked. But the match that really made me say, like, oh, I really want to do this was probably about 2 years later when The Rock versus John Cena for the first time at WrestleMania.
Ooh, WrestleMania 28. I was there for that. I would never forget. That was
Oh,
that was
I'm jealous. I'm
nah,
jealous.
don't be, man. Hey, don't be, because guess what? You you know, we never know what the future holds. And this is why we do this, because you never know who's gonna be who.
Yeah.
You never know what's in store for you in the next 5 years. We might see you as part of, Seth Rollins' orchestra, escorting him out. Or we might see you in a match at WrestleMania. Let me tell you something. You think it's funny. I'll tell you another story. Before I go further,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
you're gonna be like, wow, like Remy, you're kidding me. We had a young lady on here, 15-year-old. I think she was 17 years old. She used to play all the wrestling video games. She used to cosplay as wrestlers. I think she cosplayed played as AJ Lee one time. Met
Yeah.
her one time. I think she met the Bella Twins, and she would travel from her home to her wrestling school. I think she was in Texas. She was in San Antonio. The school was in Houston, and that's like a 2 hour, 3 hour drive. She would do that. 17 years old.
Wow.
That woman, she's a woman now. This was 5 years ago. Is Roxanne Perez.
Wow.
Roxanne Perez in NXT was on this show. We had
Wow.
another guy, another young man. This guy could do a mean somersault. You put this guy on a trampoline. You'd be like, does this guy don't even know the meaning of gravity? Does law of gravity apply to this guy? Do flips out of this world. Would give Ricochet and Pac a run for their money. That guy followed us one time.
Yeah.
We had him on the show. His dad even came on the show to say how great of a son how proud he was of his son being in wrestling. Today, that guy is now part of the WWE ID program, and his
Wow.
name is I think his name is Jack. He goes by either Jack Cartwheel or Jake Cartwright. You can see him
Wow.
on WWE
Yeah.
Evolve right now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So you never know where you're gonna be. Today, tomorrow, we might see the Cardinal on WWE, NXT, fighting
That,
Ethan Page. We might see you on AEW going up
yeah.
against John Moxley. You never know,
That's
you
awesome.
know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So so with that being said, now that you're a fan, you're tuning in every day or every week, you know, who are some of your favorites you enjoyed watching growing up?
So I started in like watching in like 2009, 2010. So like I wasn't like I didn't see like peak Shawn Michaels. I didn't see like peak Kurt Angle, all that stuff. But I went back and watched some stuff. So
Yeah.
obviously John Cena is the main reason why I'm doing all this. Um, he's the
Okay.
he's the main reason. But like that's I guess like promoting wise and how he like promotes himself outside of wrestling, but also like his attires and being very colorful and all that kind of stuff. Um, Edge for like in ring work, that guy is just him and Randy Orton. They're just super super talented. Um, Kurt Angle as well, having that not only serious vibe and like how he applied holds and stuff, but also how he had his goofy side a little bit. So like like I don't mind if someone like has me do like some goofy role. Listen, it's wrestling. I love wrestling. I'll do it. um,
Yeah.
but one of the big ones is Bret Hart, and I don't know if you saw this. I actually got to thank him in person about 2 weeks ago. I was on a show with him. He was a special guest and I wrestled for ISPW. Shout out ISPW. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll keep saying that. Um, I wrestled on that show, and before I went out, I thanked Bret Hart, and I got a picture with him. But I thanked him before I went out, and I said, "Thank you so much. You're literally the reason, or one of the reasons, why I'm standing here in wrestling tights." So he told me, "Good luck with your match," and let me tell you, there was a lot of stress now because Bret Hart knew I was wrestling next. So, but
Wow.
yeah,
I actually got to meet him. And this is another thing you're probably gonna be you're probably gonna be like, wow, I got to meet him one time, um, at a PW. I don't know if you've been to. I don't know how far you are from Rahway, but there was a promotion I used to run there called PWS Pro Wrestling Syndicate. Great
okay,
promotion, and they had a 2 day show,
mhm.
and I think it was the first day I got to meet him, and I was like kind of starstruck. I was like, because I mean, I don't normally get starstruck, but it was like just to
Yeah,
meet him, I
yeah,
was like, wow, like, hey, thank you for everything. You're awesome. I actually got because I've been working with podcasts for like 10 years now, or more than 10 years. I actually
nice.
got to interview his niece, Bronwyn Billington, the Dynamite Kid's daughter.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
I had her on here before I met him, and I got to interview his nephew, Mike the Match Heart, who's also a wrestler up in Canada, 2 times. And the first time I met him, I was like, I'm not gonna get this guy on the show. He's a heart. He's gonna want. I probably got to pay this guy like thousands of dollars here. But nah, he was really chill. I got him on. Then surprisingly, he was like he wanted to come back on our show again. So he was like the first. He was the first person we ever had that was on our show twice, on our flagship show, which is this show. So I was like, wow, that's pretty down to earth, man. Like I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the Hearts are awesome, man. Like real,
Yeah.
like to me, people don't. I think people tend to underestimate them, but they're pretty awesome people.
Yeah. And I look back at that photo of me and Brett, and I still, even though it's 2 weeks, I guarantee you probably for the rest of my lifetime, I will be looking at that and being like, I can't believe I shared a locker room and I met Bret Hart.
That's
So
that's what
yeah, it's
that's
crazy.
cool, man.
It's crazy.
So how did your journey go? End up going from wrestling fan to now the Cardinal Nick Thompson, professional wrestler.
So I actually have like a funny kind of story. It kind of goes up and down. So like I was a wrestling fan, obviously first. Everybody is. In like 2015, my senior year of high school, I decided to try like a youth clinic type thing at IWF here in New Jersey, and I
Right.
did like a 2 day thing. That was kind of like my first training. I got to run the ropes, got to like take little bumps, that kind of stuff. But I wasn't really, I was like 17. I knew I had to go to college, but then that place closed down at first. So then when I was 19, I waited 2 years. When I was 19, I went to ECPW here in Jersey, trained there for like 6 months. And then honestly, I was just too young, I think, at the time. And I just didn't know what I was getting my mind into or myself into. And I decided, you know what, let me finish college or at least focus on that a little bit. So I have a backup just in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back. During that time, IWF reopened. So IWF, I went there January 2020. It was my graduating year of college. I only had a semester left. So from like January to November, obviously we had to deal with the lockdown restrictions and stuff. But from January to November, I trained with IWF. Then we kind of transformed into Spartan Championship Wrestling in like April of 2021. And I just, yeah, until they closed, that was like all my training. So like I always knew after that John Cena Rock match that that's what I wanted to do. And you have your people in high school, people in middle school bullying you for it. Oh yeah, you want to be a wrestler, this and that. Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere, this and that. At first that wouldn't bother me, and then you kind of just, okay, I'll show you, kind of thing. So.
Well, I congratulate you for first off finishing college, because I always say, I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the business. I'm just a fan. But I used to be a singer back in high school, and I had my own band, and we always wanted to get up there. I mean, we didn't. I mean, life happened that we eventually we just kind of went our separate ways. We still talk, but
Right.
one thing we all knew was that it's not a guaranteed. It's not a guaranteed career, and neither is wrestling. So
Right.
I commend you for actually getting a backup.
Thank you.
Not a lot of people look at it that way. But I commend you for that, and sticking to your dreams, even though people are like, "Oh, you watch wrestling? That's fake, right? Like,
Yeah.
how could you watch a bunch of people in tights run around and hit each other?" I'm like, okay, can let me enjoy my stuff. You guys watch the Avengers movies, and that's fake. That's even more fake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying wrestling's fake, but like,
No, but
because
like,
people do get hurt. They get
yeah,
hurt.
exactly.
But like, you guys watch, I'll be like, you guys watch the Marvel Universe, and that's not real. You think there's a guy running around hitting people with a frisbee, or a
Yeah.
big green guy that punches people? And come on, I feel your pain, brother. Trust me, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I commend you for sticking to that. So with that being said, now that you've actually followed your dream and became a professional wrestler, what do the people that used to, either tease you about it in high school,
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you went through that as well. I did too. Trust me. I
Yeah.
went through.
Sorry you went
What
through.
what what did the people that teased you in high school, or the people that used to watch it with you in high school, and even your friend that introduced it to you? What are their reactions now when they see you in that squared circle,
Yeah.
living your dream?
So I was always like a shy kid. So, people knew I wasn't going to stick up for myself. So if they bullied me, I wasn't going to do anything. So it's actually more of a reaction from like some of the teachers too that I used to be in their class. They're like, "Oh my god, wait, what, him? He's doing that? We knew he liked it, but he's doing like, like they're shocked." But the one friend who introduced me to it, we talk every now and then. We don't talk as much anymore, but I know he told me like, "Congrats, keep pushing this and that." Um, my friends that I ended up having in high school, they support it. Um, One of them's actually like a really big fan of mine. Um, but the people who made fun of me in um, high school specifically, I've had some of them message me, "Oh, congrats," or "Oh, this is awesome." Some of them even came to a show, and and it's not anything like bad, but it's kind of like a, "Oh, thanks, man," or "Oh, thanks," and some of them try to like make the amends. I'm not one to really. I remember that. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll keep that in the back
Yeah,
of my mind, but I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, you told me I couldn't do it on like in this year or whatever. I remember you told me." I'll just be like, "Oh, thanks for coming, man." Like I'm not gonna hold that against them because we were all young, and I looking at it, I wouldn't have known if me, especially looking at me back in high school, I wouldn't know if I would make it either, or wrestle either. So, but I try not to hold that against them. I just kind of look at them as the person now because we're all grown up a little bit more. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I've taken an interest in actually traveling, and I've had people say, "Yeah, I want to be a travel buddy. I want to go to London next time you go, or Japan next time you go." So, what would your reaction be? And I'm not making it funny because, like I said, you are from what I see, you're a marketing genius, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank
You're
you.
actually, I saw one of your shirts, and I'm like, I gotta buy that shirt, bro. That shirt looks clutch, you know.
Thank you.
But what would your reaction be if one of your friends that used to watch you wrestling with you, or the guy that introduced you to it, was like, "Hey, Nick, I'm gonna get into wrestling. I want to be a tag team partner. You could be the Cardinal, I could be the Blue Jay, and we'll just go, crazy." Would you be like, would you be like, "Yeah, sure, bro, let's go. We'll you know, kick some tail together, or would you be like, bro, get away from me? The Blue
Yeah,
Jay, are you serious? No, bro, go that way." Like, what would your reaction be?
I probably. So it would have to depend on who it is, but for the most part, because I know that if they're brand new and they want to get into wrestling, they got to go through training. I went through pretty much like 2 years of training if you look at it. Um, Me personally, I view myself more as a singles competitor. If I have to be in a tag team, that's awesome. I'll do it. Whatever the promoter wants. But personally, I see myself as a singles guy. I've had some of my friends actually in wrestling want to possibly try like a tag team thing, and we tried it maybe like a couple of times, but it didn't for me. Tag team matches aren't really my strong suit. I could do them, obviously. You learn them in training, but I just feel more comfortable and I view myself more as a singles guy. I don't think that like the Cardinal and the Blue Jay or something like that would, like I don't know if that would be. It could be like a cool one time thing, like maybe the Birds or something, or something. But like or if someone's like a star or something, like the Flying Stars for like one match or two matches, that's cool. But like you know, I don't know. It just depends on really who it is, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes some people like they just like the singles thing alone, just have that one particular um that one particular route, and they
Yeah,
just have to, like, they just have to make sure that they're good. They don't have to make sure their partner is good. I mean, teach their own, just like me. Like, I'm kind of different. Like, when I was in like in the whole doing the music thing, some people like to be solo. Me, I'm more like in a group person, because on stage I was kind of shy. So at least I'm like, okay, I'll go on stage, but I have like my four friends with me. I
yeah.
don't have to worry about it. All eyes aren't just on me; they're also on them too. So I'm not too much of the focal point.
Right, right. And I guess for me, like I'm open to exploring tag team matches and being in a tag team. Like I'm 100%. I've thought about it with some of my friends. But then the more I think about it and the more we kind of get closer to possibly, thinking about it, it's like I would have to drop the Cardinal name, which isn't a bad thing, but like I would have to drop it and I would just be Nick Thompson, which it's okay, but the Cardinal name means so much to me that like I'm not gonna, just drop it, if I don't have
Yeah.
to. It just has to be the right time and place. But again, I'm up for tag team matches and being in a tag team, but yeah. So
And that was my next that was one that's one of my questions I have. So we've seen people in professional wrestling, they've given themselves all sorts of monikers in regards to the animal kingdom. We've had people call themselves a wolf. We've had people call themselves, we got guys calling themselves bears now.
yeah,
We've got guys, we've got people calling themselves Hawk. We had one guy calling himself Hawk, R.I.P. Hawk of Legion of Doom. We've
yeah.
had so many people giving themselves monikers, animal monikers. But the Cardinal, I've never seen anybody ever like giving themselves a name of a bird that's, and mind you, these animals are mostly vicious. Like, these are animals you don't want to get on their bad side. Um, Cardinals, but I've never, but the cardinal, when you see the cardinal, it's a peaceful bird. It's
Yeah,
chill. It
yeah,
eats its berries. It minds its business. It's just a chill bird. So, what was your thought process with choosing that animal to represent,
yeah.
um, Nick Thompson as a wrestler in the ring?
So I'll tell you. First, when I debuted, I was Nick Too Sharp Thompson, and then I switched it to Pretty Boy Nick Thompson, and I had no clue who I was. I would try and do different things, but then I was like, no, this something needs to switch. I need to be more me. And the Cardinal came out. And the reason why it's the Cardinal is because my hometown, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, their mascot's the Cardinal. So that was a big reason, represent hometown where I'm from. Secondly, my grandma, who is like my rock, her favorite bird is a cardinal. So, and she's getting up there in age. She's 92. So God bless her. But she's my rock. So if she's not with me at a show, because I know she can't get to every show, I know I'm literally wearing her on my shirt. um, and thirdly, when my grandfather passed away, her husband, um, they said that whenever someone passes and a cardinal shows up, that's that past loved one. So every time I see a cardinal, I know it's him. I know he's with me. So that's also a reason why a cardinal is represented on my tights, on my shirt. I don't come out with like these big wing things. I decided to be a little creative and do tassels as my wings. But yeah, those are really the main three reasons: remembering my hometown and just my loved ones. But yeah, it's kind of sentimental in a sense.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's a great story. And I gotta say, first off, before I go any further, I'm sorry for your loss with your grandfather.
Thank you.
Um, and it's cool that you're actually that you're using that bird as a symbol. Great symbolization. Not a
Thank
lot of people. Some people, when they choose an animal, like, yeah, because it's a cool animal. I'm a cobra, so like,
you.
because I strike people. Like, there's no, like, I mean, teach their own, but to me, like, there's not like a lot of, like,
Thought behind it or something.
thought behind it. But very sentimental, and like I said, man, that's a great story about to hear about
Thank you.
why you chose the Cardinal. That's really cool. I always thought the Cardinal to be like one of my to like one of the most like sharpest birds. Like when you see it, it's like all like neat. It's like just well, it's like a well dressed bird. It's just there and chill. And I'm not making fun. That's how I see it. That and the Blue
Oh
Jay,
yeah,
two
100%.
well dressed guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got a few more questions before we call the show. So speaking of Cardinals, once again, you actually got to wrestle in the home of the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
What was that experience like for you? Because I know you were like,
Oh,
"Wow, I'm here where the Arizona Cardinals play." Was there any like a renewed sense of like motivation,
so
before you got to your match?
here's the thing. I was I didn't get to because I accidentally um thing we had like scheduling conflicts, so I didn't get to go to Arizona.
Oh,
But
okay, my bad.
you're good. Don't worry. The first time it was on me, but I'm happy that we brought this up because I wanted to also kind of say this too. I had like a mental breakdown, like a mental health breakdown, and it kind of kept me from going to Arizona. It was a big step, and I think at the time I just don't think I was ready in the right mindset. But I wanted to also say that because I prioritize mental health, and I think a lot of people should too. And I'm not afraid to say that I talk to a therapist. So I think that everyone should take care of themselves, and you're not alone. Pretty much is what I'm saying. Then that was November of last year. February of this year, I was supposed to, and things didn't work out. But I am very excited to kind of go off of what you're saying. I'm very excited to go to Arizona sometime in the near future because there are dates available and they reached out to me. So it is going to happen. But I am very, very excited to do that. And when that happens, I will definitely come back on here and we will talk about it. I promise you that because I definitely want to get to Arizona because I thought of the same thing, the Arizona Cardinals, and I want to see what it's all about. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, definitely when you make that trip, let us know. We'll have you back on, man, because we want to hear about
100%.
how, we want to hear how it was, leaving New Jersey, touching down in Arizona,
Yeah.
and what was going through your mind, the motivation, getting into the ring, and what it felt like, to actually rock the Cardinal gear in Arizona. I know they're gonna pop for that. I
I'm
know for
waiting
a
for it.
fact.
I'm waiting for it. I'm
Yeah,
waiting for that
we're
pop.
we're hoping for that too, man. And in
Thank
regards to the whole mental health situation, you're not wrong. Nobody is. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. For those of y'all listening and watching, nobody is wrong for prioritizing their mental health. I always tell people, if your heart is not 100% into something, do not do it. Right? Take a breather, take a step back, take a few steps back, get your mind right, and go ahead and do it.
There you
I
go.
once, I ashamed to say this, I'm a workaholic at times. Sometimes I go 13 days, at my job straight working because I got goals. And I remember one time I just felt like I wasn't my regular self. And you know what? I had 3 days off that I know I normally I work, I pick up shifts on those 3 days. I was like, look, these 3 days I'm not gonna work. And I told my mom, I was like, she's like, whoa, whoa, you're home today? I'm like, yeah, because I had to take a break because of my mental health. I just didn't feel right. She was like, yeah, you're correct. So, you know, for those of you listening out, those listening out there is no shame in it. Don't let anybody make you feel ashamed of prioritizing your mental health before over anything else. That person that's judging you is probably in denial, and they're not gonna be there for you, or they're probably gonna be the first person that's gonna be like, "Oh, they should have told somebody," but they were telling you, but you just want to be Tommy Tough Guy or Billy
Yeah.
Badass,
Yeah.
and tell them, hey, tell them, hey, suck it up. It doesn't work that way. Everybody is different, and you go with your own flow. So, Nick, I commend you for that,
Thank you.
and I wish you nothing but great mental health, in the future.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't say you're new, but I wouldn't say you're new, but you're not. But I wouldn't say you're new to the game. But if I could tell you one thing, and if I could tell you one thing in life is that wrestling fans, you know how toxic they could be.
Yeah,
Don't let them get to you.
yeah,
A lot of them that actually say things like out of pocket. Remember the compliments you receive. Forget the insults.
yep,
Um,
like that.
a lot of times when fans do things or say things, you know why? It's because they can't do what the Cardinal does. They can't get in the ring week after week, night after night, day after day, and put on a show like you could.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
keep at it. When I was a singer, I had people talk smack too. Oh, Remy, you can't sing. You guys make a lot of noise. I started in 1999, and by 2001, this was before YouTube, by the way, before all the fancy social media where you can just hop on and cover a song. By Christmas of 2001, we were in our country. I'm from Guyana. It's in South America.
Oh
We were
wow,
on.
that's
We were
awesome.
on our. Yeah, we were on our country's national radio station covering a Christmas song.
That's awesome.
So we
Congratulations.
went.
That's awesome.
Thanks. So we went from being laughed at on stage, persevering through all of that to getting to actually cover a song on a radio station.
That's awesome. And
So
and this is kind of like this kind of relates. A lot of people, um, the people who will comment on something, they don't see this. Like you saw this with singing. With singing, I see this with wrestling. You have one goal. You're gonna do anything you can to get there. People like to see this, like, oh, you can go here, here, or oh, that might not. Where you're the only one who sees the vision. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, just keep at it, man. And let me tell you something. Another thing I'll tell you, and I've learned this even more recently. Keep on keeping on. If you can't go WB, go worldwide. I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. Every card is different. I'm not a wrestler, but every country is different. Every city is different, and I'm sure when you get to Arizona, you'll see the crowd is different from the one in New Jersey. I've
Yeah,
been very fortunate to watch wrestling. I don't know about you, but I've been very fortunate to watch wrestling live in several different cities in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in Texas, in
oh,
California, over here in New York, even New Jersey. I could tell you each of those crowds are different. They are not the same. So, um, I hope you get to travel if not, I know the ultimate goal is probably WWE, but I hope you get to travel, not just not just nationwide, but worldwide. I hope
thank
you
you.
get your Rivera jacket from Japan, like
I,
the Brothers Gray did.
I'm jealous. They I asked them about, speaking of the Brothers Gray, I asked them because I saw them after they did their Japan tour, and I asked them how it was, and they said it's phenomenal. And Japan is like the tippy top of my list right now. I wanna perform in Japan, and I want to get that steakhouse jacket so bad. So I was jealous when they showed me a
So,
picture. So I hope I'm next. I hope I'm
so take
next
it.
up in this line to get a Ribera steakhouse jacket.
So take it from a guy that has been stationed in Japan for 3 years. That was stationed in Japan for 3 years. It is exactly how they say it. It's very great. You feel a new sense of honor. The people there are very courteous, and
Nice.
it's quiet and it's clean. It's like it's just a chill place, man. And
It
when you
looks.
get there, not if, when the Cardinal makes his flight to Japan, you're gonna see how it is for yourself.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, I can't
yeah,
wait.
man.
So,
Yeah, you're definitely gonna like it. So, my last question that I have. So whenever you're working out, whenever you're ready to, cause I saw that little picture you had with the little side. I'm like, yo, what this guy did? This guy looking like looks like he's about to do Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of those Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle shows. The man was flexing like this. I'm like, damn, bro, like this guy is for real. But whenever you're actually getting heading to the gym, getting ready to do some cardio, knock out some reps, or
yeah.
whenever you're getting ready to face your opponent, what are some of the what are some songs that are on the Cardinals playlist?
So I go to a personal trainer, so it's really whatever he puts on. He doesn't let me put on my playlist sometimes. So
Okay.
but there's a lot of Motionless in White. Um the Another Life song that motivates me. There's a song called Thank You for Hating Me. That song's good. Um Honestly, I'm a big fan of Drake. I know that might be like controversial here, but
Oh,
I'm a
you
big
like
fan.
what you like?
I'm a big fan of like old Drake. Like Over will get me hyped. Headlines will get me hyped. I'm trying to think of it's the song with him and Eminem. I forget it, but
Oh, it
oh,
may not be
yeah.
nothing at
So
all.
I want this
Forever. I think it's
forever.
called Forever.
So that song gets me hyped. Kevin Rudolph with Let It Rock. That'll get me hyped.
Yo, that's
I
that jam.
honestly, any type of old wrestling theme song,
Woo.
like WrestleMania theme song, or like a wrestling theme song, like sometimes like Rhea Ripley's theme song will get me hyped, or Randy Orton's, or um, surprisingly DIY's that they'll get me hyped. Um, it honestly just varies by day, but I have like this whole playlist, like Mark Henry's theme song. Oh my
Okay.
god, I will lift weights to that on repeat. That theme song is so good. And yeah, and honestly, like, just depends on the day what I'm doing. Like, if it's legs, I'm gonna listen to Mark Henry's theme song. If it's arms, I'm gonna listen to like some Eminem or some Drake. So yeah, or EDM music. I like really any kind of music.
Yeah, my sad to say, my playlist is all over the place. Normally you might hear some Seven broken down by Seven Dust. That's one of my go-tos I always have whenever I work out. But then next it might switch to a Carly Rae Jepsen song or something by Owl City. And then
Yeah,
it'll go back to like
Fireflies.
some
Is it
yeah,
Fireflies by Owl City?
yeah, Fireflies.
Yeah, there you go. I like.
Um or it might go over to it might go to some wrestling like you said, wrestling theme song. I used to work out to Roppongi 3K, which was a tag team in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I always used to work out to the God, Guerrillas of Destiny. That's Tonga Loa. Their theme song. I used to work out to their theme song as well. So yeah, hey, whatever gets you to the workout, man.
And I shouldn't be admitting this, but I will. But like sometimes, like, when you take that gym pick or something, I'll listen to like Dashing Cody Rhodes theme song.
Oh,
just
okay.
just try and get the little hype in there. Yeah, okay, cool. Let me take the pick or something.
Somebody brought something up the other day that I didn't even notice. Cody Rhodes. Every Cody Rhodes song he's had, save for the one he was in with, save
Like,
for his debut WWE song, he always has that. Whoa! If you listen
yeah,
to each one,
it's crazy in every single one. Even when he was on Dashing, it was the depressed version of Whoa, but it was still
yeah,
the beginning. So
yeah, he always has that. Whoa! I wonder if he actually does that himself. Let me find out. Cody out there trying to be slick.
if you find out, let me know. That'd be crazy.
I definitely will. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I gotta say, Nick, hey, on behalf of myself and the rest of my Ringside Society crew, Rob Bass, Rob Bass is actually from around your area. Well, he's in Delaware, but I know Delaware is not that far from New Jersey.
It's not that
But
far.
yeah, have you ever wrestled for 1CW?
No, but I almost did a couple years ago. I think they're like 3 hours from me. They're not that bad.
Yeah, yeah, he referees for them. So
Oh, awesome.
I know he would have definitely enjoyed talking to you as well. But yeah, hopefully next time when we have you back on, he'll be here. But on behalf of myself, my two co-hosts, Rob Bass and Kathy Knight, and the rest of our Ringside Society crew, we just guys said we send you nothing but good vibes, with your wrestling career and everything else to you and yours, and we hope you get to wrestle everybody that you want to wrestle.
Thank you.
And we hope, like I said, we hope when you're kicking butt, not just nationwide, but worldwide as well, because it's nice out there, man. I hope you get that chance.
Thank you.
as well. Before we shut this show down,
Yeah.
where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out where your next appearances, purchase Cardinal merchandise? You gotta let me know about those shirts, man. 'Cause those shirts look clutch.
You
And where
gotta let
can
me
book
know
them?
which one. You gotta let me know
That
which one.
one looks cool.
This one.
That was a cool one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I have this on hand. Yeah, but they're also online. So my merch store is prowrestlingtees.com/Nick Thompson. On Instagram, it's at NT Cardinal. On X, it's at Real N Thompson. And on YouTube, you can just type in the Cardinal Nick Thompson and I'll show up. TikTok's also at NT Cardinal. I try to post every other day. Um, but yeah, and if you ever see me wrestle, like I have a show this upcoming Saturday in Toms River, New Jersey, SWF. If you ever see me wrestle live, you can get some 8x10s because they're not on my merch store. You can get some stickers, you can get some trading cards, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And is that where bookers and promoters can find you as well too when they want to book you for their shows?
Yeah, the best is probably at NT Cardinal on Instagram or on Facebook, Nick Thompson. So
Awesome. So
yeah.
for those of y'all that heard, for those for those wrestling fans out here that heard, he's on social media. Go ahead and shoot the man a follow. Go ahead and shoot the man a like. He
Yeah.
has merchandise. Go ahead and cop that Cardinal
Hey,
merchandise.
I like the fireworks behind me.
Awesome. Yeah, I just saw that, man. That's cool.
Wait, did I do that or did you do that?
I didn't do that.
Wait, did I? Because I put a thumbs up. Did that work? I don't know. That was awesome though.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know, but that was
I just said make sure for those wrestling fans watching out there, make sure you follow the Cardinal Nick Thompson. Shoot this man a follow. Shoot this man a like. Oh yeah, nothing happened. I thought it was something that said. But yeah, make sure you shoot this man. Make sure you follow this man. Cop his merch. You know he has the links. You know, go ahead and cop that Cardinal merch if you can't make the shows. That's another way you can support your
yeah.
local indie wrestler, your fellow your favorite indie wrestlers. Actually, get the merchandise, and that way, when they get signed to WWE or AEW or TNA, or they get signed to New Japan, and some jabroni goes, "Hey, look, I got the new Cardinal Nick Thompson T-shirt." You be like, "Man, that guy his stuff from when he was on the Indies, man. I've been
Yeah.
following. I'm a real fan." You know what I'm saying? So it's always great to follow somebody when they're early in their journey. So that way, when you see them, you know, they do great, they go on to do great things. You'll be like, yeah, I was rocking with them too from day one. So support indie wrestling. It's a great feeling. That's where the majority of your WWE, AEW, TNA superstars, you know, come from. It's a great feeling. So go ahead and support indie wrestling. And with that being said, it's about time to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but well, first off, before I say that, first off, you know, I almost forgot to do it too. So recently, and Nick, I'm sorry, I know we're having such a great time, but I would be remiss if I didn't do this. Recently, you know, we here at Ringside Society, we learned that we lost three wrestlers, and our thing at Ringside Society is this. We don't care if you don't make it, whether you make it WB or AW or TNA, or if you don't make it to those places at all. We don't care for your whole career you're on the indies. The one thing that sticks out to us is the fact that you go into that ring and you put on a show for us, the
Mm,
wrestling fans. And that is something that we are very grateful for and always will be. And that is why we have this show, is to show men and women like the Cardinal Nick Thompson here, and you know, so many people that we see what you're doing. Thank you.
thank you.
Um, and with that, so and unfortunately, recently we lost three great wrestlers. One of them being from here in New York, Vince Steele, great guy. We unfortunately we lost him 2 weeks ago, and we also lost two other wrestlers from Puerto Rico. One of them is Artist Artest. Or I think Artist Artest. I believe he may have been from um another I forgot where he was from. Well, he may have been from. Oh, he was actually from. I'm looking at here. I think he was from. May have been from down south. I got to get some. I got to get some confirmation on that. But Artest, we recently lost him. And I was just getting this news, by the way, from one of my friends. Like he just said, yeah, he
Yeah.
passed away. So, we lost him, and then we also lost Rico Suave, who actually used to wrestle. He wrestled in Puerto Rico for the World Wrestling Council. If you know the World Wrestling Council, they're pretty much like the WWE of Puerto Rico. They're actually ran by the Colon family, and we lost those three great men, and our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and friends. And with that being said, as we always do here at Ringside Society, we're actually going to go ahead and do a 10 bell salute. And um, that's what we're going to do right now. So bear with us one moment. Here we go. One second. RIP, guys. Thank you very much.
Rest in
So,
peace.
So with that being said, if you want to follow me on social media, well, first off, to those of you that are listening tonight, that tuned in, that are watching, thank you very much. We really and truly strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not going to stop being that. To those of you that are listening later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those of you that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd stop what we're doing. Well, I'm sorry, but we're not going anywhere for a while. And with that being said, if you want to follow, if y'all want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. I'll be in Vegas later on this month for WrestleMania, and then afterwards Tokyo, Japan next month for my birthday.
Well,
So you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. Blue Sky Remy Blue is at Remy Blue B Sky social. And I'm also on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. And last but not least, oh, I'm also on TikTok at the Remy Blue as well. So I always forget about that platform. And also, our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Blue Sky, Ringside Society.bsky.social. And we're also on Spotify, and we're also on Facebook as a Facebook group. And we also have a Teespring store where you can actually purchase official Ringside Society merch, like this one here, which is our Valentine's Day themed shirt. You can find all those on our Teespring store. We have more designs coming up. And like I said, all proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with El Magnifico,
yeah.
and the one we recently had with Uranagi. You can find all those great interviews on YouTube, and to see them, it's really simple. It's not rocket science. It's not even pre-algebra. Go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. I want to see that really good looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, as a matter of fact, just a heads up, I'm feeling very nice. I'm feeling very generous. We'll be having El Tarifico, who is actually the partner of El Magnifico.
That's
We'll be
awesome.
having him on tomorrow. He's a creative pro wrestling student, so we'll be having him on tomorrow to talk about his journey in pro wrestling. But with that being said, once again, thank you all for everything. And we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware, myself and the rest of the Ringside Society crew. We know everybody and their grandparents and the parents of a podcast, but we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same. So with that being said, I'm going to say it right now, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for Pompano, for is it Pompano? Pompton Lakes.
Pom- Pompton
Pompton Lakes.
Pompton Lakes, yeah.
And I'm going to say it also for Pompton Lakes. Well, one time for Pompton Lakes, New Jersey's own, the son of Cardinal Country, the Cardinal Nick Thompson. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back tomorrow with another impressive guest on another impressive host. On another impressive episode. But until then, we just have 4 favors for y'all, just 4. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.
See ya.